All right, let's talk about the Iliad and the Trojan War and all the stuff that came before this book so that when these references come up, you understand what they're talking about. Um, so let's start at the beginning of the story. Now, I'm not going to hit every single detail. There's probably going to be some things where you're going to go, hey, you did not mention this detail or that detail or this detail or that detail. I'm going over the basics. Um, and particularly on things that are going to come up in the book. Okay, I'm going to point those out a little bit more. So don't be too upset if I don't cover every detail. There's a lot of stuff. The other thing is, a lot of these stories, there's different versions of it, right? This is Greek mythology, essentially. So there's a lot of different versions of the same story. So if it's a little different than the one you found, so be it. But this is generally the one we want to go with. Okay, so it starts off with this wedding. All right. Uh, the goddess of discord, Eris, is not invited, uh, and she's very upset. I believe this is Achilles' parents. Gosh, I forget, but it's someone's parents. The gods are all invited except for Eris. She is like, okay, well, since I'm the goddess of discord, I'm going to cause some discord because they didn't invite me. So she gets a golden apple and she writes the fairest. Where do you think, who's the fairest of them all? Mirror, mirror on the wall comes from. So, Apple, Snow White, like the whole thing. Okay. So she writes the fairest and she throws the apple into the middle of all the goddesses. Goddesses are very jealous. They want to be the best at everything. And so what happens is this guy named Paris happens to be at this feast with all the goddesses. And basically, he has to choose who is the most beautiful goddess. Now, if you're ever in a contest like that, just run the other way because something bad's going to happen. If you have gods and goddesses and you have to choose who's the best, the people you don't choose are going to destroy your face. So, watch out. But he has to choose. And of course, the goddesses are, all the gods and goddesses are like this. They're very cunning and tricky. And so they try to bribe him. The three goddesses involved are Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite. Hera offers him uh, power over all of Asia and Europe. She bribes him with that. Athena says, well, if you tell me I'm the most beautiful, then I will give you wisdom and the ability to win wars. And Aphrodite says, I will get you the hottest, most attractive wife ever. Guess which one he chooses? Bingo. So he tells Aphrodite, you win. The most important thing to me in the world is to have the most attractive wife. I think there's a lesson in here somewhere. Uh, and so Helen, the queen of Sparta, who's married to Menelaus, please remember Menelaus, he shows up quite prominently in the Odyssey, uh, is the most beautiful woman. Now, the stories kind of vary here. Some stories um, say that he used magic to kidnap her. Others say he just kidnapped her. Others say she went willingly. Generally, it's accepted that she was not a willing partner in this, right? That she gets kidnapped somehow. So he takes her away. Her husband, Menelaus, the king of Sparta, as in, I am Sparta, like that Sparta, decides, okay, well, we're going to have an all out attack to get my wife back. So Helen's name is also known as the face that launched 1,000 ships. So there's like 1,000 ships, each with tons and tons and tons of warriors on them, all trying to sail uh, to Troy to get Helen back. This is the basis for the Trojan War that lasts 10 years. Was it a real war? Well, who knows how much of this is actually true. So let's get into the warriors of the Trojan War. A lot of you researched these people. We're going to start with Achilles because he kind of sets off a chain of events. Achilles is the greatest, is known as the greatest of all Greek warriors. So we have the Greeks or the Spartans, and then we have the Trojans. Okay. Now, his mother, Thetis, was told when he was younger that he was going to die in war, and she did not want her little baby boy to die in war. So when he was like just born, she went to hell because you could do that back then. And she dipped her son in the river Styx, which is one of the regions of hell. This is not the Christian hell. This is a different, this is the Greek hell, right? Greek mythology hell. And every part of him that was dipped in the river was impervious to attack, like immortal, right? Except she was holding on to him by the ankle. So his ankle, otherwise known as the Achilles tendon, was vulnerable. So if anyone says, "Oh, you found my Achilles heel," this is my one weakness. Okay, so he's dipped in the river. She also like had him hide and dress up as a woman. Like there's all these little stories. But what's important is there's a point in the war. He's like greatest warrior ever, right? There's a point in the war where he goes, you know what? That's it. I'm done. I quit. So what causes him to leave the war? Well, it's a woman, but not just any woman. It's a like war prize. So back in the day, lots of pillaging going on, lots of like we attack the city, and as a prize of attacking the city and winning, I'm taking the women. So he had a woman that he won. Okay, this is awful, right? That people did this. And she got taken away from him because there was this other guy named Agamemnon who also had another woman. His woman got taken away. It was a prize. So he took Achilles' woman, and Achilles like, fine. He was disgraced because he got his woman taken away. And so he's like, fine, I quit. I'm not playing anymore. I'm not going to, you guys fight without me. His good friend Patroclus comes by, tries to persuade him. Agamemnon tries to persuade, like a lot of people try to persuade. Nobody's able to, but Achilles says, fine, you can wear my armor, because if you wear my armor, they'll think you are me and they'll be afraid of you and you'll win because I strike such fear into everybody. Okay. So Patroclus puts his armor on, it works, drives back, the Trojans, but people also attack him because they want to kill the greatest warrior. So Hector, which is a Trojan warrior, kills Patroclus. And by the way, I'm sure you can tell all the names and underline. These are the ones you were supposed to research. You had the ability to research, and the ones that will show up probably in the Odyssey. So pay attention to those names. The other ones, kills Patroclus, thinking that's Achilles, takes his armor, right? Now Achilles is mad. This is the one way that he goes, fine, I'm coming back. All these people like pleading with him, saying you're going to save all these lives if you come back, you're going to help us win the war. Nope, nothing. But his friend dies, and they take his armor. Now he's coming back. Okay, so he returns and he kills Hector. Big duel. I think it lasts a couple days. It's crazy. Kills him, attaches his body to his chariot, drags it around the city for like I don't even know, like a week or two. Like it's crazy. And you're like, well, didn't the body disintegrate? No, Apollo puts like this spell on it and keeps it not disintegrating. Okay. So now people are after Achilles because this is like gang warfare, right? You kill one person, they come after you, then your team comes after them, and it just keeps going. So then Paris is the one, remember Paris? He's the one that kind of sort of started this whole thing. Trojan. He shoots Achilles in a heel. It might have been a poison arrow. That depends on the story. But the arrow is definitely guided by Apollo. Notice, like, the gods pretty much already determined who's going to win all these things, what's going to happen. Okay. So he shoots Achilles in his heel. That's why it's called Achilles' heel. And Achilles dies. Couple other warriors that don't have to do with this back and forth. We have Ajax the Greater. There is an Ajax the Lesser. I wouldn't want to be him. Hey, you're the Greater? No, I'm the Lesser. He was a Greek warrior. He fights Hector twice, but nothing really comes out of it. He had these big battles. So he was a very good warrior. He just didn't do anything. He didn't kill anyone all that famous that I'm aware of. And then at the end, there's this whole weird thing. He gets disgraced by Odysseus, who's the main character in the Odyssey. And basically, he and Odysseus are fighting over who gets Achilles' armor. Okay. And after he's killed. And it's basically who has the better speech, and the gods get to choose. Like, oh, you're more, eloquent. It was basically Odysseus was more eloquent, so Ajax was disgraced in that way. Also, he had a spell put on him, and he sees all these warriors, he kills them all, and then the spell is released, and he realized he did not kill any men; he killed all his sheep, and he looks like a fool. And so, because of all this, he's so disgraced, he falls on his own sword and kills himself. That's what Ajax is probably more known for than anything. Then we've got Agamemnon. Now he's going to come up a lot. He's going to be mentioned a lot. So is Menelaus. So is Helen. You're actually going to meet those two. But Agamemnon comes up a lot. He's mentioned a lot. Did I mention that? He's the leader of the Greek forces. He tries to persuade Achilles to return to battle. Like I said, didn't work. But what he's most known for is the fact that he almost wasn't able to get all his troops to Troy in the first place, because before they started, or maybe on the way, he was in some land where Artemis, goddess of something or other, was watching him, and they happened to kill her favorite stag. They didn't know it was her favorite stag. You got to be careful when you kill things. And so she's like, hey, you just killed my favorite stag. Yeah, you're not going anywhere. So she basically took all the wind away. And he's like, well, hey, he's praying to her, hey, how do we get the wind back? Oh, did you want wind back? Yeah, sacrifice your daughter. Then you can have the wind back. So he sacrificed his daughter, Iphigenia, and his wife was not happy about this. So at the end of the war, when it's all said and done, and by the way, Trojans win. It's the whole horse story where the horse is hollowed out, and they put all these warriors in there, and they present it as a gift, and the Trojans say, hey, thanks, and they bring it in, and then at night all the warriors come out and kill everybody. And then Helen is freed. She goes back with Menelaus. They live happily ever after. Okay. But the story's not over. Agamemnon takes another war prize, Cassandra. She's an interesting character. We'll get into her in a second. Actually, no, we'll get into her right now. Cassandra had the gift of prophecy. She could see what happens in the future. And she was given this gift by Apollo. And he gave her this gift because he was interested in her. The gods, dated mortals all the time. I don't know why. Don't ask. I couldn't tell. So he's like, oh, if I give her this, gift, then she'll want to, be with me. Well, she doesn't want to be with him, and she rejects him, and he gets mad. He goes, okay, well, I can't take away that gift that I've given you, but I can curse you. So I'm going to curse you with the curse of nobody's going to believe you. So she knew that the Trojan horse situation was going to happen. She tells everyone, no one believes her. Interesting. Also, she's taken his war prize. So Agamemnon not only killed his wife's daughter, his own daughter, but also has a mistress, has had several mistresses. His wife also has a mistress. Well, not a mistress, sorry, a lover. Okay, his name's Aegisthus. And she gets Aegisthus to kill Agamemnon when he's in his bath. He gets home, long journey. Man, I'm dirty. I got to clean up. I'm taking a bath. Aegisthus kills him with an axe in the bathtub. Bam. As a result, Aegisthus and Clytemnestra, who is Agamemnon's wife, are killed by Agamemnon and Clytemnestra's kids, Orestes and Electra. Mostly Orestes, but Electra was plotting against. And so Clytemnestra's own kids kill her because she plotted to kill their dad, which is her husband. Real dramatic. But this is going to be this whole thing with Clytemnestra and Agamemnon. That's going to be brought up a lot right at the beginning. The gods already talk about it, I think, in the first chapter. So just remember all of that. Oh, that's it. Sweet. I think, yeah, thanks.